When I clicked book now, I didn't think I was signing the death warrant for my family. It was supposed to be our escape, white sands, blue waves, no drama. But instead, that one decision tore everything apart. One F30 for have been married to my husband, Jason M38, for 4 years. He has a 13-year-old daughter, Lily, from his previous marriage. I don't have children of my own, though I've tried my best to be there for Lily. School plays, birthday gifts, late-night talks when she couldn't sleep, but it's never been easy. Her mother hates me, and Lily, well, she tolerates me on good days. This summer, I'd been drowning. My job was killing me, my marriage felt stale, and I hadn't had a proper break in 3 years. So, when I got a bonus, I decided to plan a 10-day trip to Greece. Just me and Jason, a chance to reconnect. But the moment I told him, I saw the hesitation in his eyes. What about Lily? He asked. She'll be with her mom that week, I replied. Still, won't it feel wrong? Wrong. That word stuck like a thorn, but I brushed it off. We needed this. Jason agreed, reluctantly. Fast forward to the day of the trip, our bags packed, tickets printed, and then, just hours before leaving, Lily showed up crying. Her mom had canceled her own vacation last minute and dumped Lily on us. Jason froze. I looked at the girl, standing there with her suitcase, eyes red, shoulders shaking. Take her with us, he said quietly. I couldn't. The flights, the hotel, everything was booked for 2. And selfishly, I didn't want to spend the only quiet week of my year playing stepmom. So I said no. Jason argued, begged even, but I held firm. We can plan another trip with her. This one's for us. He didn't speak to me for the entire cab ride to the airport. When I checked into the hotel in Santorini, I saw his face. Beautiful but distant. Every night, would sit on the balcony overlooking the sea, and every night, he'd scroll through photos of Lily. Halfway through the trip, he left our hotel room, said he was going for a walk, didn't come back until morning. When I confronted him, he confessed that he'd been calling Lily every night. He even video chatted her, showing her the beaches, the food, the sunsets, the same things I thought were just ours. That night, I realized something horrible. I wasn't jealous of Lily. I was jealous of the bond she had with him, something I could never replace. When we returned home, the silence was unbearable. Lily wouldn't look at me, and Jason barely spoke. Then, 2 weeks later, I saw a message on his phone from his ex-wife. Thanks for taking care of our girl when her stepmom couldn't. The words burned. Since then, Jason's been cold, distant. We sleep in the same bed but feel like strangers. He told me he doesn't trust me anymore. Not with his daughter, not with us. Now I'm wondering if maybe I am the villain here. Maybe my selfish need for a break was actually a betrayal in disguise. Not of Lily, but of the family I promised to protect. The silence between us lasted for weeks. Jason still went to work every morning, still made dinner every evening, still smiled politely when neighbors waved, but there was something different in his eyes. Like a curtain had fallen, and whatever used to live behind it was gone. Lily avoided me completely. She stopped coming downstairs for breakfast when I was there, refused to ride in the car with me, and once even told her dad I don't feel safe around her. Say. That word cut deep because I'd never laid a finger on her. But she didn't mean physically say. She meant emotionally. She didn't trust me not to abandon her again. The house felt colder every day. The walls that used to hold laughter and the smell of Jason's weekend pancakes now felt like they were closing in, suffocating me. And then, one Sunday morning, while Jason was in the shower, I heard his phone buzz. I didn't mean to look. At least, that's what I told myself, but curiosity got the better of me. The screen lit up with a message from his ex-wife, Amanda. Lily was so happy to see you yesterday. She misses having her real family together. My hands shook. I scrolled up. Dozens of texts, photos, Lily smiling beside Jason and Amanda at some park. Jason holding Amanda's hand in one of them, though maybe it was just the angle. Maybe I was seeing what I feared. When he came out of the shower, towel around his waist, I confronted him. What's going on between you two? I asked, voice trembling. He looked genuinely surprised at first, but then his face hardened. She's the mother of my child. We were talking, that's it. Then, why didn't you tell me? Why hide it? Because every time I bring up Lily or Amanda, you shut down. You only ever think about you. The words hit like bullets. I wanted to scream that I'd tried, that I'd been patient with Lily, understanding with Amanda, loving with him. But all that came out was a whisper. I just wanted us to have something that was ours. Jason sighed, ran his hands through his hair, and walked past me. Maybe that was the problem. There was never an us. There was me, my daughter, and you, orbiting somewhere around us trying to fit in. That night, I cried in the guest room, not just because he was right, but because it was the first time I realized how far apart we'd drifted. I wasn't part of their family. I was an intruder trying to hold on to a man whose heart belonged to other people. A few days later, Amanda called me. I don't know what surprised me more, the fact that she reached out or the fact that she was calm. I just wanted to say, she began, I don't hate you. But Lily's been through a lot, and when she saw Jason and me getting along again, she got her hope back. Hope that maybe her parents could still be together. I didn't even realize I was crying until she said softly, I'm sorry. I know this must hurt. Hurt didn't even begin to describe it. Later that evening, Jason came home late again. No explanation, no apology, just silence. I knew where he'd been. I didn't ask. I didn't have to. But something inside me shifted that night. I stopped waiting for him to love me again. I stopped trying to fix something that had already shattered. Instead, I started packing, slowly, quietly, one box at a time. When he noticed, he didn't even stop me. He just stood in the doorway and asked, where will you go? I don't know, I said, but I can't stay here pretending everything's fine. You've already made your choice. His jaw tightened. For a second, I thought he'd say something. Maybe ask me to stay. Maybe finally apologize. But all he said was, I'll make sure you get what you're owed from the house. That was the moment I realized I was never his home, just a guest he once loved. 2 weeks later, after I moved into a small apartment on the other side of town, I saw a post on social media. Jason and Amanda, standing together at Lily's school event, smiling, his hand on her back. The caption read, some families find their way back to where they belong. I stared at that photo for a long time. My chest felt hollow, like someone had scooped everything out. But there was also peace. Maybe I wasn't the villain. Maybe I was just the wrong person in the wrong story. Still, sometimes, late at night, I think about that trip to Greece, the soft light on the sea, the quiet mornings when I thought love was still alive. And I wonder if that was the moment it all ended, or the last time it was real. It had been 6 months since I left Jason. 6 months since I depacked my life into cardboard boxes and walked away from the house that was supposed to be our forever home. Life became quiet. Too quiet at first. I'd wake up at dawn and stare at the empty space beside me, half expecting to hear his sleepy breathing or Lily's footsteps in the hall. But silence became my new normal. It was strange, painful, yes, but clean, like breathing again after holding your breath too long. I'd started therapy. My therapist, a calm woman with soft eyes, told me something that stuck. Sometimes, people betray you not because they stopped loving you, but because they never knew how to love you in the first place. I repeated that to myself on bad days. Then one afternoon, out of nowhere, I got a message from an unknown number. Hey, this is Amanda. Can we talk? My heart skipped. What could she possibly want? I hesitated for hours before replying. What is it about? It's about Jason. I agreed to meet her at a small cafe. When she walked in, she looked different, tired. Her makeup couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. She didn't bother with small talk. Has gone, she said. I blinked. What do you mean? He left. A month ago. Number note, no explanation. Just packed his things and disappeared. The words didn't make sense. Jason? The man who needed control over everything. Who couldn't even leave the house without aligning his shoes by the door. He just left. Amanda looked down at her coffee, stirring it with trembling hands. At first, I thought he went on a business trip, but then I started getting calls from people I didn't even know. Apparently, he borrowed money, a lot of it, and not from banks, from dangerous people. I felt cold all over. What kind of money? Enough to ruin me if they think I'm involved. He said it was for Lily's college fund, but that was a lie. He was gambling, hiding it for years. My breath caught. Memories flashed. His late nights at work, the way he always guarded his phone, his growing irritation whenever I asked about finances. I'd thought it was stress. Now I realized it was guilt. Amanda continued, voice breaking. He emptied both our accounts, even Lily's savings, and now they're looking for him. I think has gone overseas. I sat back, numb. The betrayal burned all over again. Not romantic this time, but deeper. A moral betrayal. He had built his life on lies. When I got home, I opened the old box I'd promised myself I'd never touch again. The one with our wedding photos and his letters. Among the papers was a flash drive. It didn't have a label. Just black plastic, small and unassuming. I plugged it into my laptop. Inside were folders, receipts, emails, photos, and then one folder labeled Athens trip. I clicked. At first, just vacation pictures, then a video file. My pulse quickened as I opened it. Jason's voice, laughing, but not at me. He was sitting at the cafe near our hotel, holding hands with someone. Not Amanda, a woman I didn't recognize. She had dark hair, Mediterranean features, maybe a local. The camera must have been his phone left recording accidentally on the table. I could hear him say, "She thinks this trip is about healing. She doesn't know I already checked out." My stomach dropped. That trip, my favorite memory, the one I thought might save us, had been a lie too. I watched until I couldn't anymore. The image froze on his smile, the same one that used to melt me. I unplugged the flash drive, threw it across the room, and screamed until my throat went raw. The next day, I called Amanda. "You were right," I said. "Has gone because has been gone for a long time. Even before he left you. Before he left me." She was silent for a while. Then she whispered, "I hate him." I nodded, tears in my eyes. "Me too, but I also pity him." Months passed. I started to rebuild. I found a job at a design firm, adopted a rescue cat, and learned to enjoy quiet mornings again. But the wounds were still there, invisible under the surface, like scars that ache when the weather changes. Then one morning, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a postcard. It was from Greece. On the front, the exact copy from the video. On the back, a few words in his handwriting. "I'm sorry. You both deserved better, Jay." My hands trembled as I read it. There was no address, no explanation. Just that. I sat there for a long time, staring at the sea printed on the postcard, realizing that closure doesn't come in one clean moment. Sometimes it arrives years later, in the form of a confession too late to matter. That night, I burned the postcard, not out of hate, but because I needed to let him go completely. Watching the paper curl and blacken, I felt something inside me finally loosen. Jason may have left me, Amanda, and even Lily, but he couldn't take one thing. My peace. Because after all the lies, the betrayal, and the heartbreak, I finally understood the truth. Sometimes the greatest act of love is learning how to love yourself after someone else failed too.